Hello there and thank you for watching this week's Weatherquest Farming Forecast. Well, we've seen a shift to some cooler and more unsettled conditions, and it looks likely that there's going to be more around in the way of rain through the rest of this week and into the weekend. Before we take a look at the forecast over the next few days, just going to take a quick look back at the weather over the weekend. So this here's a radar loop from midday Sunday through until midday Monday, and it just shows that squally band of rain spreading eastwards across the British Isles. Ahead of that rain, it was pretty mild on Sunday, many places getting up into the low to mid-20s, but as that rain pushed eastwards, it introduced cooler air behind it. It was pretty fresh feeling in some of these western areas. You can see some showers pushing in behind that as well. But that rain continued to push eastwards. It gave quite a lot of rain over some western hills. I'll show the radar accumulations in a second. And as it moved into eastern England, we got this nice squall line developing, although the rain itself didn't actually produce a whole load in eastern England itself during Monday afternoon. But you can see then once that cleared, we're in this fresher feeling pattern, numerous showers around, a few lightning strikes as well, and a few sharper showers, but we were into something fresher and brighter as well for many places. So you can see here the amounts of rain that fell generally through that 24-hour period. A lot of rain fell across Western Hills. See some of these stations here recording something like 30 to 40 millimetres of rain, up to sort of 45, 50 in a few spots. So a couple of inches over the western high ground. That tailed off to something more 8 to 15 mil across northeast England, the Midlands and central southern England. And actually you can see as we got to East Anglia and parts of Kent, far eastern England, there was actually only a couple of mil in places. A few places saw a little bit more than that, closer to 5 mil, but generally amounts were lower as that rain spread eastwards and tended to weaken. So varied rainfall for across the UK, but some welcome rain for many people, particularly in the west. So looking ahead for the rest of this week, this is the jet stream. You see we've got this pretty marked trough to the north of the UK, a fairly active jet stream pushing numerous areas of low pressure, numerous frontal systems through. So there's going to be quite a lot of rain around for various places over the course of this week. And you can see that continues into the second half of the week just to continue to bring fronts and rain, and generally staying pretty unsettled over the course of the whole week. So an active week in store. There's going to be rain around on many days for many places. So before we go into ahead to tomorrow and the week, just an overview of Tuesday. You can see plenty of showers in the northwest. We've got this area of rain spreading in from the southwest through Tuesday afternoon and evening. You can see that pushing through, clearing to the east by Wednesday morning. So actually Wednesday itself, not too bad. Got a brief little ridge of high pressure coming through. There may be one or two showers just coming down in that northwesterly, quite breezy as well, particularly around eastern coasts, eastern England during Wednesday morning. But generally dry, plenty of sunshine, quite cool, highs of 13 or 14 degrees, so it will feel pretty fresh. But for most places it will be a dry day on Wednesday. Doesn't last for too long though. That transient ridge of high pressure clears to the east into Thursday. We've got this next area of low pressure pushing through. So generally a dry start to the day on Thursday morning before that band of rain, and quite strong winds pushes through. We get another band of rain coming through behind that. And all in all, there's not a lot of confidence in the specific detail for Thursday as to where exactly these bands of rain are going to track and how much rain is going to be associated with them. So a lot of uncertainty for the specifics, but generally good confidence that there's going to be some rain around and some potentially quite heavy rain around during Thursday and Thursday night. You can see by Friday evening, that front's cleared away to the southeast. Again, a lot of the UK is in a fresher feeling, but quite breezy and brighter, showery feel, showers around western coasts, a few making their way further inland. But generally, once that front clears, eastern areas on Friday evening will generally be that little bit drier. So a mixed couple of days. There is some heavy rain around, but there are some periods where actually it's not too bad. We should see some sunshine, but all in all it's pretty breezy as well for much of the week. Now into Saturday, early as of Saturday, that front clearing away to the east. We get quite a few showers still piling into western hills, and then we get this developing area of low pressure swing eastwards. Now you can see this model here is taking that low and the bulk of the rain down to the south, pushing into more the Bay of Biscay, around Brittany and northwest France. Some models bringing that further north and actually bringing this bulk of heavy rain here more across the Midlands and into East Anglia. So again, a lot of uncertainty in the specifics for this period. Looks like that pretty confident that low is going to swing through and we are going to see some rain, but question marks over where that heaviest rain is going to be and how much rain some places are going to get. So a lot of uncertainty. This here's just a few models' idea of how much rain we're going to see by the end of the weekend. So you can see that the bulk of the rain generally is going to be western hills. You see these pink, purple colours, that sort of showing around 60, 70, 80 millimetres of rain. So a lot of rain in some places seeing a little bit more than that, but it will be variable from place to place, just depending on where exactly those fronts track. See further east, generally down the eastern side of Britain, all the models bring in lower amounts as that rain tends to weaken those fronts as they come eastwards, but still a fairly widespread 10 to 15 mil on the low end. On the upper side of things, you can see some of these models bringing 30 to 40 mil for parts of eastern England as well, and some bringing substantially more than that. This possibly a bit of an outlier scenario, but you can see there it's bringing kind of 50, 60 mil to parts of East Anglia and the Midlands. So potentially a lot of rain around, but as you can see, a lot of uncertainty over the specifics. So in situations like this, the best thing to do is to stay on top of the forecast, is to speak directly to one of our forecasters. They're available every day from 6 a.m. till 5:30 p.m, now closing at 5:30 p.m, the phone lines now, but still available every day, 7 days a week. And they'll be able to run you through any uncertainties in the forecast, which outliers are most likely and which are less likely. So they're the best way of staying in touch with the specifics of the detail in the forecast. So looking a little bit further ahead than the weekend into the early and middle part of next week, this is the ensemble pressure pattern for across the Midlands. The weekend, you can see as that big area of low pressure comes in, there's a marked drop in pressure, good confidence of seeing that come through in some form. After that, we do see things rise a little bit. There are a few troughs where we get fronts coming through during the early part of next week. So it won't be all dry next week. It's still going to be, you describe it as an unsettled week, still some rain around, but there is a general increase in pressure. So I think less likely of seeing those really large amounts of rain, still some rain around, still some fronts coming through, but perhaps something slightly drier for the period next week. So this here is a broader kind of map view across Europe for next week. You can see still some troughiness over Northern Europe. That's going to bring those periods of rain next week that I mentioned. But as with that building pressure, you can see high pressure beginning to nudge in from the south. So that's going to bring slightly drier conditions, particularly in the south, like we just showed there, but still potential for some rain as this area of low pressure allows some fronts to come through. But the rest of southern Europe and eastern Europe, we've got this other area of high pressure building in from the east. So below average rainfall generally across southern Europe, but above average in some northern areas, with that low still bringing unsettled conditions. Now into the middle part of October, there have been hints of something slightly drier returning. So this is the pressure anomaly for the week beginning the 11th. Broad ridge of high pressure beginning to build across southern and central Europe, perhaps ridging into parts of southern Britain, southern Scandinavia. So potential for seeing drier than average conditions, particularly further south. Southern parts of the UK may just be slightly drier than average, but still with low pressure to the north, we might see some fronts come through. There's still a breezy westerly flow. So northern and western parts of the British Isles still probably above average, and central areas somewhere in between, depending on how many of those fronts come through. So slightly dry, but again, not completely dry. There will be some rain around for most places during that period. And similarly into the third week of October, still hints of high pressure across southern Europe, perhaps edging its way further south now. So we're back to something a little bit more westerly, a bit breezier, low pressure pushing fronts through some showers. So still it looks like in terms of the next 4 weeks, next week, this coming week is still looking the wettest. Beyond that, still some rain around, but slightly drier than the coming period, with high pressure having a little more of an influence. So to summarise, it will remain cool and unsettled through the rest of this week, with frequent areas of rain coming through, potentially quite a lot of rain in some places, particularly over western hills. But there are hints that beyond that it might turn a little bit drier, still changeable through next week, still the potential for some rain around and some showers, but beyond that perhaps something a little bit drier in the south of the UK. And it does look like when that high pressure begins to build the middle part of the month from the south, it might lift temperatures to something slightly above average, and we lose this much fresher feeling period that we've got at the minute. So thanks for watching this week's video. As ever, you can keep up to date with the day-to-day forecasts for East Anglia and the UK on our social media channels. Thanks for watching.